Good evening, everyone. Um, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you today. I never read statements, so I just have memorized some notes for myself. So I always want to speak from my heart. That's what matters. I don't know if it would work today or not. But let me start by words of thanks. Dr. Ahmed Dalal, President of the AUC, Dr. Tariq Shawi, who's not with us now, but wanted to give him great thanks. Dr. Ihab Abdurrahman, the Provost, esteemed faculty that are actually, again, behind every success that you'd have. I think this esteemed faculty is behind it. But most importantly, the proud parents. And I had to get myself back to moments where I graduated in 88 or in 95. And I wanted to, again, congratulate you as parents for such an achievement for your lovely, lovely students. And finally, I look at your faces. As I said, I remember myself at the same moment 37 years ago in 1988 or 1995, 30 years ago, doing my master's. And I can tell you one thing, and I know what you're going through. It's the joy, it's the happiness, it's the sense of accomplishment, but you deserve it. So congratulations, really, from all of us. This is, again, a remarkable, and you're making us very, very proud, and you're making your parents and your country very proud. So today, I have to give you a confession. This is one of the most difficult speeches that I had to prepare for. My colleagues in the ministry would tell you that I go and speak because I know what I'm doing. I have a vision, I know what challenges that you're facing, so I talk about what we do. Today, it was a little bit of a challenge because it's difficult. But I have my confession to all of you that I think if I need advice and wisdom, I think you'd have it. Your generation is way ahead, and I would come to you for that advice. That's true. And I think what I would want to share with you today, some reflections, some observations from my career, from how I see the world changing around us, and I hope you would take some of those in your career, because we count on you to change a lot of things in the world that we're living in. But one thing I want to start with, and I want to give you, when I graduated in 1988, I've never imagined that I would be sitting in front of you giving this speech. My dreams at the time were that I would finish, and I started actually my master's in civil engineering. Immediately after graduation, I was top of my class, and I decided this is the career that I want to be in. And then a couple of years later, almost exactly 2.5 years, I had someone telling me something about an MBA. I've never heard of an MBA at that point of time, and it was very strange. But I made the quickest decision of my life when he offered me, why don't you decide, come and change and do this? You might think this is irrational, this is crazy to do, because at that time I finished my coursework, which is very difficult, so I know exactly what you've been through doing your difficult masters and, again, very sophisticated types of studies. But at that point of time, I felt, why not give it a try? And that's one of the themes of what I want you to take from at least my experience, because daring to change is something that is very important in the world that we're living in. But what world we're living in? I'll come back to that theme. It's needless to say that we're in a world that is changing. Again, this is the nicest way to say that it's changing. But I think I would call it an inflection point. Inflection point because in history, and I've been reading about history, I refreshed all my history readings in the last 12 years. And I'll go back to why. But I think we're shifting, and that transformation is from a unipolar to a multipolar. We're talking about rich versus poor. The majority is poverty across the world, which is a shame on the systems that we've developed over the last 50 years. We're talking about West versus East, very clear. We're talking about nationalism rising, but more importantly, the biggest theme that I can see that will shape your lives is that the globalization that we've enjoyed the last 3+ decades, in my view, is fading away. The globalization is a great concept because it's actually brought up efficiency, supply chain efficiency, just-in-time operations. It created the massive economies of Asia, Southeast Asia. It created China's of today. And that's what my generation have witnessed, because we had these philosophies, ideas about movement of people, movement of ideas, the cheapest production, let's put it in the best production place, and let's utilize that. But that is changing. And you know what is changing today. Today we're talking about borders. We're talking about tariffs. We're talking about dismantling international institutions, which is amazing to see. But that's the responsibility that we and you will have to carry on your shoulders, because that's the world that you are facing. But more importantly, we talk about climate change. And I think if you ask me, are we taking this seriously or not? I don't think we're taking it any seriously. If the largest economy of the world is actually bashing the ideas of climate change, so what are we talking about? But more importantly, in this age and time, we're talking about raging war in our neighborhood. Look at our borders from west, east, south, and now with the regional conflict that we're seeing, and again, the atrocities that we're seeing in Gaza, which are, again, heartfelt, devastating, to say the least. But more importantly, another theme that I think would shape up the future is technology. And you're going to be masters of that technology. We're just trying to catch up as much as we can, but you're going to be mastering that technology. When we talk about artificial intelligence and we're talking about the new things that are popping up, I think this is a new world. Two words comes to mind when we talk about a world that's changing or transforming. Uncertainty, absolutely. And that's something that we will have to deal with. In my current job, in your jobs, it is something that we'll have to deal with. But it's a major transformation. And in transformation, there are lots of opportunities. And that's my advice to you. You need to look at the bright side of how that world will shift and how can you utilize that for your own career and your own vision of your country, your company, your what you want to build. So that's one word I mentioned when you graduate and the feelings. You might have the joy, happiness, accomplishment, but you also have fear of the future, right? But fear, I don't want to say I had that fear, because we also at our time had uncertainty. Every age and time you would have uncertainty. But I think what I want you to face the realities, work at it, and the fear will become part of the journey. Part of the journey, not something that will scare you. It's actually something that will make you stronger to that effect. I stand here today when I look at you about this word fear, and to be honest, I have no fear whatsoever. Because again, I talk about your generation. I have two boys, 28 and 30 years old. And I would, again, another confession, I personally changed completely because of my two boys. I said I read all my history books again, because we are, as a generation, let me just reflect a little bit on our generation. At my time, and I'm turning 59 in a couple of months, our generation was defined by very little choices. If you're top of your class at high school, it's either engineer or a doctor. It's the way of teaching that is, in my view, take it as is. This is what we've learned in many subjects, in society, in religion, in different aspects. And you can reflect how different you are from where we are. And that's why the last 12 years, and more than that, almost 15 years, with the boys, your generation, or again, I can tell you you're a different generation. You have a deep awareness of the challenges that we're facing as a society in the world that I attest no generation had this ability. You have a bold spirit. You have that willingness to change the world. You have this strange, I mean, for your age, and again, I know you're postgraduates, but still I look at your faces, you have this sense of purpose. We've developed that sense of purpose literally after half of our careers. But you have that sense of feeling of the environment, the world, the society, that socially conscious aspect, the environmentally aware, the globally connected you are. But more importantly, you have access to information, to tools, networks, that is really unimaginable. And that's something that you'd have to think of. But you also have the vision, the voice, and the values. And for me, that makes you very, very powerful force. But with force comes responsibility. Let me talk, and again, you know about this topic more than I am, but I'm reading a lot. I'm just trying to learn, because one aspect of life is you have to keep learning. Artificial intelligence, you know more, as I said, but I read more. Again, I see the negatives and the positive of how people talk about artificial intelligence and how it's revolutionizing industries, reshaping the job markets, challenging the way we think, learn, create. Again, it's uncertainty versus possibility. But I think it's for you, it's a possibility. You can do with that a lot of things. You can multiply your efficiency. You can build and analyze, innovate, problem solve faster than ever. And as I said, if you read and you see what is happening, you can see the potential of that tool. You can reach across continents with a click. You can turn an idea into a startup. 37 years ago, that word startup did not exist. Trust me, that is a very new concept. You have a voice. Your voice, you turn it into a movement with a click of a button as well. All of these tools amplify massively your potential. That's why I started with, if I need an advice, I will come and ask you for advice. So my first reflection on my career, and again, it's by no means something that I will put, but I'll put it for you. It's courage and dare to change. Don't be fearful of change. Change is good. As I said, I was an engineer. When I took that call and said, why don't you come join for an advisory, for a financial advisory? Okay, I said yes. I don't know why I did that decision. And I dropped my dissertation. And at the time, everyone told me, you're crazy. You can imagine, your parents, you worked very hard. I had an acceptance at that point of time from, again, a PhD program at Michigan Ann Arbor. I had that acceptance letter. But then you open that door, again, fear, why not? Accepting 30% of the salary I used to make at that point of time, and that's a reality. And then you discover, as an engineer, wow, the world is much bigger than the drawing boards of an engineer. And again, you start to think, wow, had I kept myself into this, there's no harm in continuing to be in that field. But I opened that door for myself. And I told, at the time, it was my fiancée, who accepted all my crazy decisions, all my career, and thanks to her, she's here. But again, it's amazing. All I'm telling you is, please don't fear of change. Change is very good. Change, every career move I've taken, and people told me it's irrational, it created and opened a lot of doors for me. Today, I'm not an engineer anymore, but I have my engineering background, my analytical skills. So when I am taking this job today, and I was speaking to the provost before the session, because of my engineering background, I analyze every and each problem. I know today I can tell you what are the challenges on each and every policy we have today, on the fiscal side, on the trade side, on how to fix the economy. That's the beauty about engineering. So I didn't lose my engineering degree. It carries It is part of me, it's part of my DNA. But as I said, I want you to take this embrace change. And more importantly, the second word I want you to put in your career, don't be fearful as a one person that you can make a difference. Trust me, you can. And again, I'm talking as a one person, there is no judgment, again. I managed in my career 2 major transformations. I was one voice when I started this, and one in a big corporate here in Egypt, and in the last 12 years in one of the largest international financial institutions. Being one voice with a very articulated vision and consistency and working hard, you can change organizations. You can. And you can change society as well. So don't be fearful of change, and that's my first, at least, remark, a reflection on my career. But again, before I leave that point, and again I started with the changing world, I want you to think the daunting task that we would give to you as a generation, as postgraduates, as the smartest that actually ventured into postgraduates. In the world that I described to all of you, I hope you would help us rethink how we live. I mentioned the poverty levels, the vast difference between the rich and poor, which is a shame on the systems that we've created over the past 50, 70 years. We need you to think how to care for the planet, how to redesign our systems that excluded too many for too long, how to redefine success. And that's how your DNA is, not on what you achieved, but how you uplift others along the way. So I put on you a major responsibility, but as I started with, I'm very confident that you are up to this. The second theme that I would want to leave with you, life is not going to be always easy. As you can see from even my career, your career will never be a straight line. It will have a lot of bounces, ups and downs. And I'm assuring you, it's assured that you will have rejections and you will have failure. These are the things that will make you stronger. For every rejection and failure, you need to understand this will make me stronger. But what will carry you and help you navigate these 2 normal patterns in your career is one thing. It's faith. And that's what helped me. I mean, life will throw boulders at you, difficulties at you. Have faith. Have faith in yourself, more importantly than anything. Have faith in the process, understanding that these failures and rejections are part of the journey. It's part of it. It's, again, I'm sorry to say, it's part of the fun. If it's easy all the way, it's not going to be enjoyable. But more importantly, faith that you will stand up again and you can do it because of, again, the strong education, your strong will that will help you. So faith, in my view, will help you endure, will give you the wisdom to accept and the resilience to rise again. The other theme that I would want to keep and leave with you as a reflection, and the last 12 years I've lived in London, and my boys are living outside Egypt for the past 12, 13 years as well. Our identity is unique. Cherish your identity. Don't change for others. Our uniqueness is actually our identity. Our superpower is actually our identity. And that's something I would hope you carry in your careers, because that's very important. In what we're seeing today in the world that, again, unfortunately is unfolding with what we discovered, the double face, or at least the hypocrisy that we're seeing, sticking to principles, sticking to our identity is something that is very important. But more importantly, the second reflection, be grounded. Be grounded to your roots, to your family, to your land, to your country. That's really what matters. It's very important to be grounded. And the third reflection that again, it helped me in my career is that you have to consciously think whom you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with people that give you positivity. That will help you as a person, will help your mind to focus on the right thing going forward. And I can tell you an example as well on my career, and again, it's not a reflection. And similar to many of our generations, at a certain point of time, possibly it's 2001, 2002, so it's almost 25 years ago. And at the time, I remember very well, my generation was very negative about Egypt. Oh, no, there is no hope, there is nothing we can do. And then it was a program, it was a mini MBA that we had in Egypt at the time, and it was a group of 30 Egyptians. And it was a program of a year and a half or something like that. And in that year and a half, 2002, one thing I came out with, that we as 30 people decided to change our perception. It's the glass half full, not the glass half empty. And we as a group, again, each in his own company, carrying their own career, decided, let's be positive about Egypt. That's what we decided. 30 people, again, we never knew each other before, but it's amazing the power of ideas, the power of positivity. Again, out of that, we created many entities, that group of people. The Egyptian Junior Business Association, which became one of the most active business associations in this country, thanks to the younger youth. It's again, we put it as a criteria. It's age between 25 and 45. And every 2 years, you change the president. So we had a governance system that created this positivity in society. Out of that association, many of the existing association, the Competitiveness Council, the research units, spun off of this idea, which is, again, it was about be positive for your country and try to do your best. Again, I can mention other institutions like the Egyptian Private Equity Association. And my personal pride, when we decided in 2007, a group of people, let's do institutional charity in a different way. It was an idea. Literally, it was an idea, sitting in a small room. Let's create an institution that would do, not charity, development organization, applying the best practice in the world, which became Masr al-Khair, which makes me very proud. It's just like my son. And I can tell you, the days we spend, and I always was the voice of governance, being member of the founding board and the association, is that it's always what is the best standard, best in class in terms of governance that we have to apply, and we're still applying it today. One other reflection I want you to have with you, enjoy the journey. Your career, you could focus on the next step, the next move, the next title, next promotion, that's fine. But please enjoy the journey. Enjoy every moment. And the one who's telling you this is the new person has changed over the past 12, 13 years. Really enjoy it. Life, it's not about the mountaintop. It's about reaching that, the journey to do this. Last year I've done something, before I took this job, I did a cycling tour. It was a week in Europe, 700 kilometers. And the peak day was actually a climax where with the cycle, we do 2,000 meters of climb. So I was hoping to get to the top of the mountain. But as you reach there, you're tired like hell, and it's crazy cold. But the day itself, 9 hours of cycling, was such an enjoyable, because that's the sense of achievement, enjoying with the friends that you're cycling with. So again, take your career with that sense of that you need to do, enjoy the journey to that moment. But more importantly, celebrate successes, breathe along the way. Celebrate with your family, your loved ones, your sibling. This is part of the journey. And today, as again, I mentioned my age already, so I don't want to remind myself again. What is success? When I ask myself, what is success for me? You will be surprised. I thought about it a lot the last 2-3 days. I would hope that my parents would say, I'm a good son. Really, that's my top priority. I hope my wife to say, I'm a good husband. I hope my sons would say I'm a good father. I hope my friends would say I'm a good friend. I hope my fellow Egyptian would say, I did my best for Egypt, really, as a social citizen. And what is my impact on the society? That's what I see my success. I don't see it anything else. So, as I'm trying to wrap up, stand up here today looking at you, postgraduates, the smartest of the smart. I feel one thing. I have faith on you. I don't know, but that's my gut feel. I always carry that with me, that I hope you will fix this broken world. A lot of responsibility, but I think you're up to it. I hope you will build what is missing that we've missed in our generation. That you would lead, and I know you will do, with empathy, humility, and strength. You're both the future and the present. And I would hope that you would help in this journey, not only the world, but our beloved country, Egypt, because it deserves much better from all of us. And finally, thank you. So at least I'm trying. I told myself I have to try to do that for my country, Egypt. But finally, I want to conclude really. The final remarks I want to leave you, please remember this. Try to be grounded in your career. Material stuff doesn't matter. Being closer to your beloved ones, family, this is what matters. Be grounded. Don't lose your identity and dare to change. Trust me, change is very good. Change is good, and you will change the world. Have faith. That's what will make you stronger. Be, in fact, impactful, courageous, and enjoy the journey. Congratulations, class of 2025. Thank you very much. It has been an honor.